Okay, all done.
What's done? What did Mew do? Why did I say that? I'm not feline so good. Tee-hee.
Can you at least pat my head or something?
No. Ladies, gentlemen, and meowsters of all ages, the Monster Hunter series is known for a number of things, but one of the main ones is cats. Another is its combat, fueled significantly by the design of the 14 weapons in the game. Well, 14 currently in the game, but there was a time where there were less, and there was a time where there were technically more. I've talked about a number of weapons from the non-mainline Monster Hunter games in this series. I've also talked about the old medium bowgun, which was in the main series, and whether these should return to the main series games in the future, and today is not really any different. Monster Hunter Generations and Generations Ultimate had a unique 15th weapon as well. Prowler Mode. Sure, this was the game full-on hunting styles and hunter arts were a part of, so there was already a lot of funky extra playstyles going on, but this was particularly unique in itself because it not only completely changed the way that you hunted by replacing the regular concept of your health, stamina, healing, and item usage completely, technically giving you 9 lives over the course of a hunt for one specific reason. The other reason it's so unique. You a kitty cat. A tiny little putty tat. Which of course has the advantages of being cute, and also totally redefines the way that you build your character, as Palico armor doesn't have skills. Instead, your skills are chosen by the specific Palico that you choose to inhabit in your Prowler mode. That sounds a bit weird. Yeah, you just sort of choose one of the various felines that you have hired through the Meowstress and become them. You have the skills that they have active, which often affect you more than they do in AI Palico for some of them. Your base fighting style in Prowler mode involves a boomerang. You mix the boomerang with the Palico weapon that you've made at the smithy and equipped, actually providing a cool middle ground style between melee and ranged, though the strongest way of playing in actual practice was generally focused around using the melee to build up the ability to use stronger ranged options, for some skills allowing you to do things like pierce the monster, acting it like pierce ammo, or making it just a really big boomerang, because why the hell not? As you attack the monster and get hit by the monster as well, you will build up a gauge that is visible on screen that I'll be referring to as the Prowler gauge, because I do what I want and call things what I want to. Using this gauge, you can activate moves and abilities. Each Palico has its own moves and abilities that you choose from a list, so there are tons of different variations of possible playstyles around this, and essentially you use a set amount of your Prowler gauge to activate each of these abilities. From traps to heals to bombs to crazy augmentations to your boomerang, there really was a lot of options. You also did not have a stamina bar at all while in Prowler mode. You start sprinting while your weapon is unsheathed after you do a dash, which is really nice. There was a hidden secret gauge that slowly fills up and makes you enraged every once in a while, making your affinity higher and unlocking an extra attack, and honestly, the whole world just feels totally unique playing like this in this style in Prowler mode. I'm not particularly experienced with Prowler, I won't pretend that I am. I've only messed with it quite shallowly personally compared to a lot of others, but it is very immediately notably unique from every other way that I have played Monster Hunter or even seen Monster Hunter played. Resources work differently on a base level. Movement works differently. You're a cat. Life is cat. Cat is life. There was even a skill that if you were lucky enough to have it on your Palico, removed the acorn system more or less. Rather than returning to full health twice before each proper death, you just die normally, but for the cost of that, you gain a ton of offensive power. This is playstyle customization right here. As far as whether or not this playstyle should return to the main series again in the future, yeah, I would love it, though I'd say that for pretty much everything because I just love the idea of having more weapons and more options in Monster Hunter, more ways to enjoy the things we already have. I don't think there's really a negative to having more weapons as long as they can be even remotely balanced, because they don't need to be perfectly balanced. It's a single player game. This would be awesome though, specifically Prowler, partially because we now have Palamutes in the series as well, and it is implied through in-game dialogue about Palamute trainers visiting other regions that Palamutes will probably be sticking around in some form as well in the future. So a Prowler mode with Palico could even be expanded to include some sort of Palamute option as well. What's interesting as well is that Monster Hunter Rise Palicos actually have a very similar system to Generations Palicos as far as both their skills and moves and abilities, which was the entire foundation of that Prowler mode. So it is definitely not out of the realm of possibility that this could return again at some point, someday in the future. That said, I would like to say that even if, for some inexplicable reason, Prowler mode itself is just ruled out forever, they will never bring it back, the concept of a giant boomerang weapon that is both melee and ranged is just totally badass, and I would kill for that in the series again, even just as a hunter weapon. I would love it as a hunter weapon. I love the concept of a giant boomerang. I was a massive Ty the Tasmanian Tiger fan when I was younger. I watched Inuyasha when I was a kid. I like boomerangs, okay? Back to the concept of Palamute Prowler for a second though. What if we, even instead of doing that, had Prowler just be Palikos, a Palico exclusive thing, but then also added a separate weapon class for Palamute focused playstyle? Something I think people have been whispering about for ages, something like a mounted playstyle. A spear, not a lance like the lance, a spear, not a glaive like the insect glaive, a spear, a regular old spear in the playstyle, always on top of Palamute. Move Palamute with your left stick, right stick once you're locked onto the monster, instead of turning your camera, would aim the spear, allowing you to move in a different direction than you're attacking. That's just my basic idea for something that could be neat. At least, I don't know. I'm not a game designer. I just like playing video games, and I think it'd be cool to ride a fun dog around, you know? And I also want the cat people to be happy again too, okay? That's it though. Everyone, a brief outline of Prowler and my very positive opinions towards bringing it back again. What are your personal thoughts on the matter? How many of you have played Prowler mode before, either a little bit or a lot of bit? Did you enjoy it or not? If you haven't experienced this playstyle before, what are your thoughts on it now? Does it have you excited, or do you think that it's sort of lame? I want to know what you think, whatever it is. I've been Cotton Dinosaur. Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.